Well, we got a Sunseeker in here. Let's see. So some of the things that we do when we get a coach in here, I check all these lights. We have a checkoff list right here. This is our sheet, and we check off like lights, air conditioner. We want to make sure everything works before we start working on it. I don't want someone to say, hey, you know, we work on it, and you know, there's something not working on here. And then we go give them that back to coach, and that same thing is not working. They go, well, it worked when I brought it in. So now what we do is we check the outlets, we check all the electrical especially, check all that. So we cannot get power to this thing. So we got batteries that are down, yes. But one of the other issues that I see right here is a rat's nest, mouse nest, whatever, rodent nest of some sort. So I don't know if there was a rat that got in here and chewed something or not. But anyhow, we're going to charge these batteries up, and we're going to see if that'll solve the problem. But the outlets, we're not getting them to work. We're not getting the 120 to work for us. We got some 12 volt, but not much. So that's what we're checking out to see why and how and all that other stuff. And then when I get the scaffold together, I'll go up on the roof and show you all that. But I want to see if this is going to solve our problem. So I vacuumed out all this stuff. And I found this little guy right here. Alright, I got 2 brand new batteries in here. The other ones are so dead. I brought them down to the store to O'Reilly's, and I had him do a test on them, and he said they're gone. Plus they were like 8 years old. He said they're gone. So then we tried to get electricity into it, and no go. So the end of the cord, the ground wire, looked bad, and the cord was all chewed up. On the edge here, see how bent and all. So I was wondering if the connection inside there was burnt, and I couldn't open that up, so I put a new cord on it. Where my cord is? Here it is right there. So we put that on there. Went back in the coach, still nothing. Took apart the service box, we've been testing it. I said, something got to be going sideways here. Because if you put electricity here, when I go to the end of that cord, I should have electricity. And if I don't, well, that means
you got enough.
There's something. Where's the breach?
Here.
Oh, it's right there. So this is what we found. Our little mousey ate the daggum wire.
Something.
Yeah.
Shut it in the door or something.
So we are going to make that repair. That's what we need to do, and I'll bet we'll have electricity then. All right, let's take a look at our Sunseeker. So this is your typical put more on crap. What I don't like about these is that the water has to build up that high before it comes off the roof. I don't like that. We're going to get rid of this. That's just a piss poor design. Also, rusty screws. You know water's getting in there. You can really see, like, that isn't sealed under there. So I don't like that. See someone has put some more layers on here. Bad vent. I don't know if you can see this roof line. I don't know if you can see that real well. But this roof has a sag in it. I can see the ceiling inside. So more than likely, I would not be surprised if we have to put trusses in this thing. I've had to do it before to other Sunseekers. So, but I mean, this whole area right here is already sagging down. So, and it's kind of going in this way and in the center. So, in the inside, you can see it more so. Look at that antenna right there. Those are definitely leaking right there. Had some leaks and some issues over here on the front right there. You can see that. So, and someone, you know, he tried to layer it, but there is some damage down in the inside. He kind of took care of that, the person who owns it. So, and we also have some in the back over here as well, going in the back from this part. So, you know, we're going to see when we open this up, but this is just gives you an idea of what we got going on. And like I said, this is the same, this is an acrylic roof. This is the same junk that they put on pop-up campers. Same thing. I don't know if we got a straight edge. I'm going to see if I get a straight edge for it. I pull it out so you can see that. That dip is pretty good. Let me go get a straight edge. All right, so just putting a level across as a straight edge, not necessarily asking for it. We're looking for it to be level. But, you know, that would all depend on suspension and everything else. But this stick right here, this one is 3/4 inch thick. So it'll give you an idea of how much of a gap we got there of a sag. So you got about a good 3/4 of an inch anyways, right there. So it's also come down this way. So when we pop this off, you'll see it's got some problems. But that's what we do here. We fix the problems. We're problem fixers. Yeah. Alright, got a tore up awning. Haven't checked the other side there. See if I can get around the other side. See if that'll happen. Hopefully it won't. Hey, come on. You're interfering with the camera. The fans want to see what's going on. Don't need you in the way. Alright. Ooh, that's... I bet there's some rot under there. Put more on. There, wrong screws even. So, but you can see it doesn't stick. See, that'll all come right up. I'll put that crap on there. Alright, so here's what I was telling here. See, stuff it's no good. Who's their cash cow? The one you keep putting more on. It's their cash cow. That's why I don't recommend. If you have something, they do make a lap sealant for other like membrane roofs. You can get it at a commercial supply house because there are companies like Firestone makes it, Carlisle makes some, GAF makes some. There's a whole bunch of manufacturers that have their own lap sealant, and they're going to be a lot better than this RV crap. We're going to get rid of that antenna anyways. They can't reinstall those. Right here, there's a shaft that goes down into the seal, and that's where you hook the handle up so you can twist it. But when I build it up, that little shaft will be above the seal and you won't be able to get the handle back on. So I know some people say you can take this out and redesign it and put a new shaft and do all that nonsense, and they're just low budget anyways. So, and then you got this right here, which is, you can see water's, see how black that is? That's how you know water's been getting in there. So, and this was that pocket I was telling you about earlier. Man, this thing, look at all those screws right there. See how rusty they are? You see that rusty screw? See if I get the camera in there the right way, but they are rusty. So, alright. Anyhow, there's a King of Leons, is what you hear in the background. Actually pretty good. So, but again, all rusty screws. Let's clear all this up. This whole thing is delaminated. I'm expecting obviously the whole roof is pretty much trashed. I don't even know if it's still wet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was still wet. So that looks puffy up here. Instead of that being sagged, this looks like it's puffed up. To me it does. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but it's not a camber. It's not a camber. It just looks like that's released and kind of puckered up. We'll see when we take it off. There you go. Alright, so what we got? Oh wow, that is wet. Okay, so this is what D-lam is. So see the grain this way, grain that way. The next layer is going this way. One that they orient the grain. That's where you get your strength on plywood. But that's that bubble I was telling you about. Excuse me. Ooh, how you doing? Okay. But yeah, this is still wet right here. Gotta love that smell. Gotta get this thing opened up. That's gonna take us a little bit to dry out. Alright, so that's what that's all about. That's what that bubble I was saying. So this is just a ply foam roof. And what a ply foam is, let me get down here and show you. Sorry about the camera there. I know I'll make some people sick the way I do the camera work. I'm just trying to give you the meat and potatoes. This ain't a massive production. I don't have all those fancy intros and all that fancy computer video programs. I just take the clips off of the camera and then I put them all together. That's how simple I do it. Not a video or production guy. Not really trying to be a YouTube guy. I'm just trying to get information out, especially to the customers, so we can see all what we did. Really, why I started doing these. So, and I know other people like to watch them. But if you're used to all those, hey, and we'll be back after these messages. Well, no one's gonna sponsor me because they don't like me calling them out on the shit they do, to be honest with you. Just trying to get this one out of my way. There we go. So I can show you, I'm trying to show you what ply foam is. But what it is, maybe this last one right here. Get that out. Just probably put the camera down. But one more layer. So what really a ply foam is, if I can get all this being a left-handed, which I'm not. There you go. So this is ply foam. Got a sheet of Luan right here. There's foam right there. That's laminated. Luan's laminated over the top of this. On this coach, I'll bet there are no trusses on this. If I remember correctly from the last Sunseeker, no trusses. So I like the system. If they do it, it's all vacuum sealed. It's really strong. Once water gets in it, it's junk. So then you have to go and actually put trusses. You're probably going to need to put trusses in this. And I can just tell by the way this roof is, and because I've done enough of them. But yeah, this is the same. This is an acrylic. It's not fiberglass. It's just acrylic. It's just got some fiberglass in it. That's all it is. There's your Luan glued to it. Right. Here's some more of your D-lam right here. See? That's what I'm saying. So this piece delaminated from this piece. That's why it's called D-lam. This piece delammed from this other one underneath. This other ply. So these are like paper towels. You pull out one sheet. You have the grain going one way, pull out another sheet, put the grain the other way, put on another sheet, have the grain going that way. That makes a 3-ply system. And then depending on the plywood you need and the grade and the strength and its application and all that stuff, you'll see some will be 3-ply, some will be 4-ply, 5-ply. It depends. That's what all those numbers mean on the plywood. It'll say ASTM, which means American Standard of Testing Materials. And each ply has its strength with certain epoxies that they use to hold it together. Can withstand certain shear strengths, tensile strengths. Shear strength is back and forth, tensile strength is up and down. So hopefully you learned something. And but that's what this is. This is a mess. You can see it's all moldy. So obviously I'll take all this apart. I'll get a blower on here. We'll dry it all out. We'll see what's going on. You know, but it's a shame. You know, the way they put these things together. And they charge so much money for them, and they put this crap on here. No one really checks out the roof. The last thing you're going to see, I don't know how many people, very, very little, I would guess, actually get up on a roof and look at it before they buy it, you know? So go, hey, that's a good roof system. And some salesman's going to give you some crap and go, yeah, this is great. It's one sheet. You'll never have any trouble with it. The problem is you probably don't have any trouble with this right here, but it's going to get terminated right here. So this is where you're going to have issues. So what good is that if this is going to leak, right? What good is it if you don't have a curb and water is getting up underneath everything, right? Doesn't add up. But they don't care. They just want to get it built, get it out, get it sold. Anyhow, let me get some of this up and then I'll show you more. Let's throw them all out here. Look how rusty these are. Not one of these are sealed. Not one. They're not sealed. Look at this one. It's so rusty, some of the shape has gone out of the screw. Never cease to amaze me. We got a lens cap missing here. Then we took the ladder off, didn't we? Yeah, it's right here. That's what those are. So we'll get that. Let's see what we got going.
It's just hanging there, and I noticed that.
Oh, okay. That's an anti-billowing device. What it's supposed to do goes on like that. and then the wind is supposed to hit this and not get up underneath and cause a furling of the awning. So it doesn't look broke, it just looks loose. So, but we do have a little crack there. It probably still works. So that's a plus. How's this awning? This one look alright? The stitching okay? We're gonna pull that off anyways. Almost that dirt. Some booger on here, whatever that is.
Bird turd.
Bird turd. Okay. Alright. So we're getting them. You can see all these screws we already took out. They're all rusted. You can see how I'm pushing on this thing here. I know that's all rotted. That's how I showed you that big gap under there. Alright. More to come. That's a shame. It really is. So this is that turn bar. This is what it's called, a turn bar. It's because it terminates. Termination bar. That's what it is. So this sheet is tucked under here. That's screwed down. So it goes all the way here, and they stopped it right there, and they relied on caulking alone. That shitty caulking right here. Look at that hole. I don't know who makes this thing. Who makes Sunseeker? I should go find out. But whoever you are, you need to up your game. That's terrible. So I don't know what the rest of it looks like. We're trying to get the awning off. We have to get that off. We're going to take shoulder off. We're going to strip the whole roof. So that's what we're working on. But I wanted to show you this. And you wouldn't expect this from a manufacturer when you buy a coach. You wouldn't expect 2.5 inches missing to cause a leak, and then put this crap on there, which doesn't stick. Alright, let's get to work. That's already breached down there, you can see that. I think I showed you that yesterday. Alright, so remember I showed you the hole right here? This is soaked. This is cardboard, but it's soaked. This is really, really wet. So now I got to take all this off. I got to get this piece out. I can't put it back together wet. It's not going to ever dry. I don't know how far down it goes. Probably close to those lights from where I'm reaching now. Hope I don't have to take a window out. But it's wet. I mean, it's wet. Oh, something got to happen with it. Gee whiz. All right. These are some of the things we run into, and you know, I hate to do all this work if I don't have to. And I hate to bring it to the customer. Hey, you got soaked right back wall. We got to peel stuff apart, and you know. Let's see what we can do. So what we got here, this is a piece of underlayment. So when the water got on top of here, on top of this piece, this is called MDF, which means medium dense fiberboard. That's a nice way of saying cardboard on steroids. That's about all it is. So I got a moisture meter here. If I can get this cap off. There we go. Let's see what she does.
No, that's it. I expected overload.
You ready?
What do you need?
You ready for the window?
See what we got there.
Hang on, let me grab a
It's pretty wet. You see it's in the red. It is soaked with cardboard, that's wet. So, got some moisture on here. Let's see how bad this is. Let's see if I can turn it around so we can read it. That's kind of wet. See when you see that, I don't know if you can see the red flashing light on there. I don't know if you can see the red. That means no good or too wet. That's what it means. You don't want to have that high of a moisture content in there. It will never dry out. So we need to see what the rest of this is doing. That's why we got to take this back wall up. And this is all wet down here too. Okay. Hard to get this meter in here. Wow, look at that. That means overload. So it's soaked down inside there. So it's all going to come out. We're getting the window out. There comes the window. Alright, so now we're on the back wall. Window, that's one we took out. Tail light. This is just a molding that comes down. And let's see if I get my little flashlight here. you can see these screws are all rusted. They just pop right out. That's how bad they are. They just pop right out. This whole wall is all soaked. We already were able to feel behind it, but I'll show you later. Alright, we got the back siding off, and you can see the discoloration. This was dry. This is still wet. It's still soaked. That's how, just ripping apart like tissue paper. So we're gonna get all this off as much as we can, and then make sure everything underneath it is okay. That's my other concern. I can't have all this moisture in the wall. So, but it is soaked all the way down to the bottom. So let me get all this skinned off, and then we'll see what we got. Get our trusty meter. Let's see what happened here. Oh, not good. Oh, look at there. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's what we call here soakified. It done soakified. But it's, so we're gonna see if it's even working. I may peel this. See, it's got a vapor barrier on it. That's what that is. Glue. It's not even glued to the frame. And this is a Keystone product. So we're gonna see if we can get this to dry out. That's kind of the goal. Even though that's wet, it doesn't feel rotted. It's hard. Like you can hear that. It would make that nice solid sound if it was rotted. I think we may be able to just let this thing dry out, get some blowers on it. That's what I'm hoping. I really don't want to tear it apart. But what I probably will do is come down here and I'm gonna glue all this back to the frame like it should. So, and then there's a piece under here. So I don't know how much until I get it off, but that's what I'm hoping for. We shall see. Cross the fingers. Yay. All right, so we got all this skinned off, and we got bigger problems. This is the inside of the coach. Outside of the coach, inside of the coach. This is all rotted. So everything's changed now. We're going to take this whole entire wall out. Just take it out. Sometimes I rebuild them on, but this is so bad it's just not worth it. So I'm going to just peel it off, bring it over to my table, rebuild the whole thing, and put it all back together because of this wall being so bad, and you know this whole mess. Yeah, so it's easier. That's what we're doing now. So we're going to leave those two on the end. I'm going to leave those two. Wires are running up through there, so I'm going to frame everything to fit that, bring it back over. It'd just be a lot easier than trying to deal with wires. I don't like messing with those. It always turns into trying to pull wires through there and then try to travel them back up. And there's a couple harness for the camera, a couple other things. So we're going to leave them alone. All right, so that's what we're up to. Check it out. She is rotted. You still think you could probably spray this roof? So just spray over it. If all that stuff worked, I'd be buying the machine. Okay, so we got the back wall all rebuilt. We cleaned up all the siding here off of it. We got that all filleted off. We put in some new foam. This is ISO board. It's called isocyanate. It's just a better foam. It's a structural grade foam. It has a better R value too. So we also glued all that back to the frame. Glued it all together, and you can see we added some framing where we need it to give it a little bit more strength. And we got the other side right here. On this other side has already got the sheathing on there. We're going to put the sheathing on here. We're not using that crappy MDF. We're not going to put that in there. So we put some more wood stock down there. That's for the ladders. You got one there. You got another one over here. And then he's prepping up a piece over there that's going to go in so we can bond everything together and glue it all together. So it's real close to go back in. Then we'll just have to come back, and obviously we got to shave all this stuff down. We're just going to wait for it to cure out a little bit because we just finished it. We'll shave it all down, get nice. And all right, more to come. Right, so I'm trying to see how much moisture is in the foam. So I cut this out. to see if there's any water in here. This was, you can still see some droplets right there. That's overload right there. You can see the red right here. That's overload, meaning like it's soaked. So I'm gonna sporadically check, but my concern is I put a nice roof on this thing. I still got moisture under here. It will never ever dry out until you open it up. And I have a suspicion that I may have to take out all this foam to salvage the ceiling, and then refoam it. That's what didn't want to, but that looks like where it may be headed. A lot of work. So I'm going to keep spot checking. I don't know if you can look down there, right about where my hand is now. You can see it kind of bellies down where that vent hole is. I think that was the air connection up there. But you can see it's got some sag. You can see it inside. I actually see it from here too. You can see the whole thing is right in the center, and that's what it does all the way down the coach. So I can also tell, see, I've got all that rotted framing around the vents. I don't like that. Obviously we'll replace it, but how far does that moisture go? So again, I don't want to just go, yeah, hey, there you go, there's your roof. Then the whole ceiling fails because the moisture isn't getting out of there, and eventually it will probably cause the ceiling fabric to release. Well, then you're going to have to go inside and tear all that apart to redo it. So I'm hoping that if I do that, strip it, dry it, salvage it, you know, get it all mold killed, all that nonsense, get it all done, that may prevent having to do the ceiling. That's what I'm looking at. So let me do some more research, and I'm going to spot check a few more places. Check out this hot mess. So we're going to remove all of this. There's other roofs that I've done where I have just tried to salvage this foam, and I tried to, you know, I'll get up underneath there and I'll fillet this off and save the foam. Not in this one. The foam is too far damaged for me to do that. For the roof to come out right, I've got too much saggage coming in here. It looks like it's collapsed for whatever reason, but it's collapsed up there. Near the front is another issue. So we're just going to totally just get rid of it, and I'm going to put all new trusses, rebuild the whole thing. We're not going to use the foam. We're just going to fill it with insulation, just like your typical like fifth wheel or travel trailer. That's how I'm going to build it. So I've already got all the trusses built, just a matter of pulling all this out. I mean, all this is all rotted anyways. You can see all this is really damaged bad, so that would have to get replaced. But again, this foam is just that bad. It's soaked all the way down into the ceiling panels and it's ruined the ceiling panels. That's why it's got to come out. So I showed over there, and I put a moisture meter over there. But I'm sure right now, if I go in here and start taking out like sections, I'm sure there's still going to be moisture in there, because it'll always stay in there until you open it up and get it dried out. So you can see, look at this front cap. This is the front cap you can see right here. Look at the gap in there. That thing is just absolutely just, woo. I mean, it's doing this. So we're going to get rid of all of that. And like you said, we're just going to rebuild it. That's all we can do. You know, it'll come out better. And then at least this way, when we put the roof on it, we know he's not going to have any problems. If we didn't do the way I'm doing it now, if we try to just reskin this, and some of the other ones I have, depends on how much water damage is in it. But if I did do it, I didn't want it to turn into an issue where the ceiling starts failing, you know, a year or two from now, because all that moisture's got to go somewhere, and eventually, you know, with the heat and everything, could cause it to kind of turn into like a steam or evaporate or just soak in somewhere else. I don't want to have any problems at all. So I don't know if you can see that a little better. Like, you can see that corner is much higher than this one over here. And then even though we took this piece out, I can see it dropping down a little bit, but it's still got this. The thing is just all out of shape. So I don't trust it. I don't want to do it. So again, we're going to just lay it all out, rip it all up, and put it back together. It'll come out much better. I'll have a brand new ceiling, roof. Everything will be all brand new. You see, we already did the back wall. And then the other thing I'm going to do is, once I put this piece in, because you can actually see, even see the ceiling is failing right in this curvature right here. It's sagging down. But we're going to put another truss in here, and then I'll have some, when you have more than one radius, it's called a radii, and I'll have some radii going across just to kind of add some more strength. They didn't do that. They just rolled that MDF cheap crap rolled it up, and that was that. So, and this is the problem with some of these. I don't run across it too much with a ply foam that I have to go to this degree. Like I said, a lot of Georgetowns I've been able to salvage. Those are a big culprit for roof issues for sure, and dashboard issues. But nonetheless, you know, that's why we made the decision, talk to the customer, he said, just do the whole thing, rip it all up, put a whole brand new thing on it, be done with it. So that's good news. It's a nice coach too, otherwise, I mean, it really is. And it's a shame that you say, hey, is it really worth putting the money into it? Well, how much do these coaches run? And the sad part is, you go and get another one, you're gonna have a similar roof problem. Maybe not quite to this degree if you catch it early, but they're all gonna need a new roof. They're all junk. So I've showed that time and time and time again on my videos, how bad they just slap them together, and the way they design the roof systems is just, that's not the proper way to put a roof system together. You don't simply just put these square holes in here, put the vent down there, you'll slobber it with, we'll put some butyl on the bottom, push it down, run 28 screws around it, and slobber it with self-leveling. That's not the proper way to do a roof. So that's why they all fail. But they want to just get 365 days out of it. That's it, 1 year, see you bye, hey, now it's your problem. So, or whoever else when you sell it, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. So, like I said, that's what we got. And then even this section here, see, I tore this up, and this is dry, but I would have had to tear everything up. And then on the inside, I still have issues of some little rottage and stuff up inside there. And it's just, again, it's just the best thing to do for this. So, all right, well, let me get to work and see what we can do. Got to get the wiring all figured out. So these aren't DIY videos. A lot of people say, hey, you didn't show this, you didn't show that. I can't show everything. All I do is this clip you're watching now, there'll be another one afterwards. I just put a what do they call it, transition in between there, and that's it when I pull them from the camera. I don't edit anything on here. It's what you see is what you get, basically. I don't have time for all that. But, you know, one of the smartest things I could probably give advice on is to buy these little tags. You want to buy these little tags. You want to mark everything to make sure you know where it came out of. Once you mark all that, at least this way, because when you open this up, you're going to forget where that wire went, this wire went, and so forth. And these tags are cheap. Just buy them, and then you can also write a whole bunch of notes on the back. And now you know, hey, this wire connects to this light over there, and you mark all your lights. Make sure everything's all marked, A, B, C, D, you know, however you want to do it, light 1, light 2, that type thing, bedroom light, however you want to do it. You know, that's the best advice I could give, is to get these little tags. So, and then you can, you know, like you say, you can mark them. That's why they're all on here, and they're all those little tags are on there. So we know where this wire is going. When we pull this whole panel up, put the new one in, it's real simple. We're just going to go boom, there it lands, you know. So, all right, well, let us get to work. We'll check out our hot mess. So we got the roof off, you can see, and we got the frame already built. So we're going to skin it and get the sealant together on it. It's all framed out, but this is what it looks like when it's all apart. So that foam is just so wonky, that's why I didn't want to use it again. So we're getting there. You can see we've got our panels here. We got them all made up. Got some rot right here. That panel was rotted. We already sprayed it with Mow Kill, so we got to address that. Got to get that fixed. I think we got one more over this slide out, and then one more over this slide out over here. All that's all rotted. This is still wet. You know, it's literally, it's wet. So we're gonna fix all this before we put the roof down, the roof ceiling and everything. This is the top of the slide out. Here's the front of the cab, slide out. This is the aluminum frame that they use to build the roof assembly. There's a filler board right here. This coach, we've had this coach for at least 2 months, and it still has not dried out. We haven't been working on it 2 months. We've had it here. Look at that thing. It just flatlined right out. It is absolutely soaked. So we got to take this piece out right underneath there. That's how much water's in it. So see, we turn it this way, but the whole thing is all rotted. And if we don't get that out, I don't want any. There you go. That one's already flatlining out too. So we got to get it out. What I don't want is to leave it in there, have it fester, either turn to mold or whatever. It's got to get dried out. So when I say these will not dry out unless you open them up. This is a good example. I've showed it time and time again, but this is another good example. Repetition for emphasis, I guess. But so we're gonna see if we can go in and do some surgery in it and just get that out, and then we'll just obviously cut a new piece and put it in there and build it back up. But this thing is just, there's a lot of work on this for sure. Over there it seems okay. Over there, that seemed all right. Yeah. That seemed okay on there. So we had that one, and then we had the other end down here that I was showing you for the closet, and then got a little bit right here too. Yeah, that's just the wall, partition wall. So we could probably take care of that after we get the ceiling in. We'll pop another piece up in there and get that squared away. But we got to open up the slide to get the rest of this. Gee whiz. Okay, onward and upward. All right, so now we decided to go along and just check it with this moisture meter. It's in 15.9. That's right at the top. So we're going to go down a little bit. That's soaked, and that's only maybe 4 inches down. This is the bathroom. You can see the, I don't know if you can see the toilet right there, the commode right there. This is the cabinet. The medicine cabinet. See what this wall's doing. This in dry. That seems dry. This one seems drier. Yeah, that's fine. And then we come over here, there's the other side, going into the bedroom. It's 22%. See if we go down a little bit. When you go down just a few more inches,
Move that board.
there's got a little bit of wetness in there.
That one's up there.
That one's alright?
No, they're out in there.
This is the one that we're replacing right here. That's not terrible, but we may have to address this. We may have to do that when we get inside. You know. Okay. Well, we'll keep checking around, make sure we get it. That's my only concern. Just make sure we don't get any mold issues. All right. So we've got the roof frame. We got the texture on there. I'll have to show you that later. Then we get the siding on. Siding's all put on here. These lights working. Everything's working on there. And then we're going to put in this blown-in insulation. Got little strips in here, and that's so we can put the cabinets back together. So what we did is when we framed all this up and I fabricated all these little trusses, I made these other plates here to screw down into the shoulder. So they're actually secured here with this heavy plate right here, and then underneath here, they're secured as well. So they're secured here, then the plate goes over. They're screwed down here, plate goes over, then the plywood's going to obviously cover all that. We didn't even have to mess with the wiring. The way I wanted to do it was just so I could keep pulling wires through. And that's the way I got it. So we made some notches, obviously, for here. Put this on here so we don't put any fasteners through it. And then, like I was telling you, everything's all labeled. So that's a vent, so that'll just drop right down inside there. So this is our big old mock-up Bible that you see right there. Could have come out a little better. The guy who did it, he evidently not all that well with it. But we figured it out just the same. So everything's coming together. You can see we got our speakers in here and everything. So like I said, we're about ready to get some insulation in here, and then we're going to get some get the decking on, start putting the roof back together. It's ready to go. So over here, these light fixtures right here, the little plastic caps that go on the lenses, they were broke. There was like 2 or 3 of them that were broke. You can't find them. So we're going to get new replacement lights, and then I just cut them out of there, got the wires pulled out. So we're going to get all new LED lights up on here. And then you can see we got new ductwork that we put in. And the way this ductwork is, I fabricated that as well. And then the inside, it's all insulated. I don't know if you can see it here. I can get a close up. You can see the insulation in there. So everything's all insulated like it should be. And then and that's about us. So we're about ready to, like I said, get the insulation in here and get this thing decked. That big box right there, that's for the air conditioner. So, and then we'll have our shoulders come on, put the shoulders back on, and then get, like you said, get the roofing on. So, all right, we'll show you more as we get going. But it's looking good. It's coming together. The again, we put a different fabric on there. This one had like a wallpaper type of ceiling. I put a foam backed vinyl on there, and then we got some molding that I made up to that I think will look real good for all the joints, right? It'll look better. So I just ran it through a router, make them look clean. So instead of just being flat pieces like the ones we took out, I actually put it through a router and put a little shape on it, just give it some detail. Got to put a little jazz into it, right? So, all right, let us get to work and we'll keep you updated. Well, you can see we have got the insulation down. And now we got these plates on here to protect all the wires. We're going to staple it down, glue it in, staple it. So everything else all been glued, screwed, tattooed, and everything else. So there's our plywood, BC grade, good stuff, 1/2 inch. We're going to put that down, and once we get that done, roofing goes on. Alrighty, we have got the roof redecked, as you can see. We're just cleaning some of the dust off. It's all glued and fastened down. So we staple all these down. I highly recommend it. These aren't a DIY channel, but you don't want to screw them down. You start putting a whole bunch of screws in here, you're going to end up splitting that. So go split the deck. So, all right. So all we're doing now is just getting it to fit nice up there in the front, and we're good. Shoulders go on, roof goes on. Alrighty. So as you can see, it's all decked. We got our protective strips all over there, and now we already got this side already glued. This is almost ready to go. Probably another, I don't know, maybe 30-40 minutes. And then we'll roll this out, and then we can start really assembling the roof, because all we got to do is just put the gutters on, curbs, weld, and all that stuff, and she'll be done. And then the inside, we're just cutting the holes out for the vents and the stuff. So that'll so we can put the garnishments in and whatnot. But other than that, she's coming down to the finale of this. This is a little bit of a project here. And as our luck would have it, we got another Georgetown over here that's going to need a whole entire roof and ceiling again. So that'll be coming up. So now we're putting on the gutter. We got it all on there, and you see we got a grommet of caulking around every screw, every one of them. Then now this burps up, we strike it down. I'm going to put another layer on here, and then when that cures, I'm going to put yet another layer on it. So that's the way we do it. But it's all the way down there. Well, let's show you our ceiling. What? We got it all together. All new ceiling. Everything done, all nice and pretty. Well, we turn the interior lights on, but I think it messes with the camera. That's why I use a flashlight instead. But it's all done. It looks great. It's done. Ready to go. So the can't get that rear slide out to work. I don't know what the deal is with that. But that's not a bear for us to poke. Maybe some trick or something that he knows, but it seems like it may need a motor or something. I'm not sure. But otherwise, this is what we got. I'll show you the roof here in a minute. We are done with our Sunseeker. All right, this is the roof. The other thing we did, let's see, show you down here, see if I can. We put a couple of stands that go down from the ladder to the bumper. So this way, when you step on here, you don't keep compromising these supports right here. They'll just keep pulling, and then they start leaking around there. So down the bottom, we just put an extra piece down there. Goes right to the bumper. Right there. So that helps when you step on the ladder. So, like you said, so it doesn't start pulling on the wall. So you saw we obviously rebuilt the whole back wall. We got our little stamp on here. That's so we can see how the roof is doing over the years when it comes back in for inspection. We want to see how old it is. Also, if he ever goes to sell the coach, you know, a lot of people know these roofs as a rule. These RV roofs are no good. He can say, hey, wait a minute, I just had that roof put on. There it is. It's still under warranty and so forth. But everything you see here, you know, this is not a DIY channel. If you get some chips out of it, awesome. But they're really not intended for that. We try to show the customer everything that we do. So, you know, a lot of them have questions. Say, hey, what'd you do? What'd you find? What'd you fix? And so forth. So you can kind of see the progress we did. And again, what we did to pull it all back together. So everything here that you see, all these are called curbs. Some people call them risers, but when we elevate them up on a commercial level, that's what they're called, curbs. So I modified all these and made them fit, form, and function for an RV. This is literally a commercial roof. It's the same exact thing, same exact roof system you would find on a hotel, office building, library. Commercial roofs, they start off at 45 mil. That's how thick they are. Then it goes up to 60, 90, and so forth. I think you can get 120. But this is a 60 mil. So not only do we upgrade it from a cheap RV grade roof, we upgraded even one level on a commercial end as well. So like I said, all these are all heat welded in. Everything is all heat welded. So you don't have to go around with all that caulking, and all the caulking we use and all the sealants, they are all commercial grade. They're nothing like you're going to find, you know, this RV junk. If it says RV on it, I don't recommend using it. So I showed you how we went along and we, you know, caulked all the screws on here, and then all the caulking up here. This is 2 strikes on here. So once that first adhesive that we had put in there, once that had, we pressed it up, I striked it down, and then, as you know, when it burped up, and then when that cured, I put 1 layer on here. Then we went back and put another layer on it. So the reason I do 2 layers is if you've ever ran a caulking gun and operated one, you know, when you start squeezing it, you'll hear it pop and crackle. That means you just injected an air bubble. So if you just leave it that way, if that air bubble, these things rack, twist, and flex a lot. If that air bubble pops, breaches, then you possibly have a leak. So my thought is, what are the chances of having 1 air bubble land on top of another one? Probably slim to none. So that's why we go around it with 2 strikes. And all these boots, these are called boots right here. These are all loaded with a special sealer. They stay flexible all the time, so those won't leak. Again, you can see we put 2 strikes in the back. Had some fracturing going on the back side of here. There is some on the front a little bit, but anyhow, we put a decal up on here just to stave that off. So all the lights and everything have all been sealed, ladder been sealed. Obviously, the whole wall's been sealed in that end. We did not go around the whole entire coach. That wasn't in the work order. So I would recommend, you know, we did go around the top of this window and stuff like that we can see from the platform up. We try to get. I don't want someone to say, hey, I got a roof leak, to come back. It really wasn't a roof leak. It was a window leak or something else. You know, so that's why we do from pretty much from the top up. Replace the front lights. So all of these curbs that I built right here, they all have, this is a counter flash that I built into them. This is the flashing, this is counter flashing. So now when the water is coming across the roof in a heavy storm you drive in, or not, heavy water coming across, it's going to try to come up here, and then it's going to get diverted. So what it really does is this curbs minimize erosion effect. That's what it does. More water keeps rushing over things, you get erosion. So that's what the purpose of all the flashing is. And all of this is all heat welded. That's not glued or anything. It's heat welded. We have it looks like a, I don't know, hair dryer on steroids, puts out about 1200 degrees, and it literally fuses everything together. Much like when you weld with, you know, even metal. When you weld metal, the difference is, even though it's heating it up, you're using a medium, either a wire or a rod or something, to fill it. This isn't like that. You just heat it up, and the material itself bonds back together. So got a couple of stands in the back. It gives the air conditioner some balance. Up underneath the air conditioner is a foam gasket, which we did replace. Should replace those every couple of years. But knowing that there is a gasket up on top there, when the water comes down around the air conditioner here, I don't want it to try to, when the wind's blowing, possibly trickle it back into the foam gasket. So we put this as another form of a counter flash that goes over the counter flash of the curb, that little fin. It goes over that to push the water below so it can run out that way. So, and again, we got the same, we put these covers on here, so we got covers, and the, let's see what else we got, go around the other side. The, eventually it's going to need a new awning for the slide here, eventually. So, go around the other side. I'll show what we did over here. Alright, same thing, 2 strikes of caulking all the way down. I got a solar fan on here. This is a plumbing. This is an intake. So if that intake fault comes off, branch hits it, pops off. If it does, all there is ductwork that goes inside here, inside this cavity. So now with the weather being the way it is, you may have some frost sitting on here. Here comes the sun, evaporates that off. But on the underside of this lens, on the underside is still cold frost. When the sun comes up to evaporate, it warms that shell up, and then eventually what it does is it condensates, and it'll start drooling down on the inside of the lens, and it could get into the roof deck, and then the roof decking is going to basically suck it up. Okay, it's going to absorb it, wick it in, if you will. So I designed these here, and there's another ductwork that runs in here, so it goes into that cavity. So now when the sun comes up and is evaporating this off, that solar fan is kicked on, the air gets drawn through here and it comes up and goes back down. There's an inner lens, so it goes up over, it comes back, and it exhausts it out, so it keeps it dry. That's the whole point of it. Some people come in here and they go, man, I've had this skylight leaking, I don't know what it is, it keeps leaking, and that's what it is. It's condensation. It's basically called dry rot. So if this did pop off, you can take the plumbing right here and you can put it on there. If not, put tape on it or something, but that can leak. But this one is plumbing, so it's all sealed, so any water that gets inside there, it's just going down into the holding tank, and I doubt you're going to get whatever 30 gallons of water or whatever this thing holds in your holding tanks. So you see we got the same thing for putting new refrigerator cover on here. Again, all this is all heat welded in here, all of that is. So that's about the gist of what we got on the roof system. You saw obviously how we put it all together, new trusses and so forth, and I showed you the inside already. So the roof system in itself, like I said, it's a 60 mil commercial grade. This is called TPO. TPO stands for thermal plastic. That's what it stands for, thermoplastic olefin. So that's what allows it so you can weld it all together. So it does come in 3 colors. So you got the white that we put on, then there's a tan and there's a gray. These are standard colors. They do offer some other colors, even some darker ones that would probably match in here, but that's a premium price for sure. So but these are our standard colors, and there's all our information right there. If you are interested in getting a quote or something, you can reach out to us, either give us a call, you can go to the website if you like, and you can see a lot more information that maybe I'm not giving you right here. So the way the warranty works, they warranty, and this is with all, do I get this thing to focus in here? This works with all roofing material. Is the warranty is for the material, just the material, this here, that's it. I don't know why there it goes, just for the material. So all that said, the material is warranted for 20 years. So we like folks to come back annually so we can inspect it. I like to see them come back in about 60 days so I can do an initial inspection. I do show folks how to do an initial inspection to get, to really inspect it when they come up and take a look at their coach. Before they even go out, we do yet another inspection. I've got an inspection bay on the other side, so we'll bring it in, do another inspection, and while they're with us, we show them how to do it. But I do like to see it come back. I would hate for something so small to turn into a big mess, and then they say, you know what, I got this leak here or there, and it's new, it's fresh. That's why I like to see it come back. So annual inspections every year, that's how it works. So when you come back the next year, we do every year, your inspection gets renewed. So you come back in, this is 24, come back in 25, then you'll get a warranty from 25 to year 26, 2026. Come back in 26, you get one from 2026 to 2027. So you kind of get the idea. So don't think, this is an awesome roof system. I'm really proud of the way these things go on. I'm proud of the workmanship we put into it. But I didn't make the roofing, I didn't make the caulking, I didn't make all these materials. I want to catch this before it becomes a problem. If there's something that we see, we want to catch it before it turns into a problem, and that's why we do the annual inspections. Some folks want to check it themselves, but I would hate for something to happen and then they don't come back and they say, hey, now I got a leak. I go, you could have got that squared away with, proper caulking and redid it before it turned into a hot mess. Because if I got to go back and fix it, then I hate to say it, but I have to charge them for it. Especially if it's something that, like I said, that could have been taken care of easily because they didn't bring it in. So this insert trim right here, this snaps in. I can get a little more of that out there, but it snaps in the track. Let me see if I can find that thing. I'm gonna go find it, but it snaps in the track and over the track, and I like that because it stays in real tight. I deliberately didn't caulk the end of this because there is some moisture that tends to build up, and if it does, I want it to come out. I don't want it to stay in there. So all these are everything's all glued together. But if I can find that piece, I'll show you. Probably gotta go look for it. Probably should have had it with me. Dadgummit, I thought I had one up on this back wall over here. So let me go get that, and then I'll show you what it's like. So I found it. All right, so here is your typical, obviously there's the gutter. right here, right? There's your gutter. And this is your typical insert trim. It just slides in the track, right? So the stuff that we use is got a groove in it. You can see that groove. And it goes in that little track there. See if I turn it for you. So it seats in. So it's under it and over it. And I like that because then all the water drains out and I keep everything out of this track. This one, water can still get down inside this track, and I'm trying to keep as much water out as I can. So we don't sell anything here. I have some folks call me up and say, hey, can you sell me this, sell me that? We don't sell anything. I don't sell even the insert trim. I don't sell anything. Also, we don't quote on social media. So if you're watching the video, you're like, hey, I'm curious to know price, you're going to have to give us a call. We don't quote on social media. Let's see, is there anything else? Nope, other than that, like I said, I think that's about it. So we appreciate y'all watching, and we've got a couple more coming up. I got another hot mess, Georgetown, I think I told you over there. That's a mess that we're going to have to redo the whole roof and ceiling, and that one's going to be quite a bit of work. It's going to be much like what we did to this, but it's a lot bigger. So that's a crazy amount of work to do on those. And actually we did another Georgetown like that. So also, if you're looking to buy a coach, I don't know if I'd encourage you to buy a Georgetown. They always seem to have dashboard problems. They always seem to have roof issues, like roof and ceiling issues. Of all the coaches, and you look on this channel and you put in Georgetown, you're going to see how much work I've done to these Georgetowns. So they keep our shop busy, but you know, I hate to see someone get one. Go, man, I got a great deal on it. Yeah, well, you know, it has just a tiny little leak. There's no such thing as a little leak on a Georgetown. You know, if you see water coming through a coach, typically there's already damage to it. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, we appreciate y'all watching. Again, you can reach out to us right here on our channel, or excuse me, our website right there. And then there's our telephone number. And we'll see you on the next one. So in our care package, we have caulking, we got primer, we have got 2 patches. Those are heat patches. We got a patch peel and stick patch. We got a checker tool. We've got a magnet. And the rest of this is just pens, keychains, brush, nozzle. Okay, so if we have a hole in the roof, it will simulate a hole. You can do hole simulations. We say we got a hole there. Here's your tree branch come through and you're like, oh man, I got a hole in my roof, it's leaking. What you want to do? And it's raining out. Right now it's raining, you're like, crap, I gotta stop that leak. You want to get in there, and if you can't get that nozzle in there, don't worry about it. Make it a little bigger. What you're trying to do, you need to get up underneath the roofing, like this. This is what we need to do, get up underneath the roofing. Then you're going to take and you're going to put this up inside there, and you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hopefully this thing is plugged up. There it goes. You squeeze, squeeze. You're going to try and get up underneath this part too. Squeeze up underneath there. Get some more underneath there. Well, we are getting this thing all boogered up. Then what we're going to do, you're going to push it together. See how it oozes out? That's sealed. You're done. This is a moisture cured product. So what? It's a hot mess. Looks terrible. Who cares? Keep the water out. So now, the next day, we're going to go up there, and that's going to be cured looking like that. So we're going to take a knife, and you just shave it down. Just shave it down with a knife. I'm just going to obviously wipe this off. Now you say, hey, I want something a little better than that. So what we're going to do is get some cleaner. This is a terrible rag. You got another one. You got one on you? Oh, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag. Hey, what are you doing? What are you going to talk about, man? No, just leave it alone. Oh, leave it alone right now. We're recording now? Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, so now we cleaned it off with a knife. I just washed that off because it's still wet. Take that off. So now we got a patch. There's a peel and stick patch. We're going to take that, we're going to center it over there. Just take a pen and go around like this. I like to kind of put a dash like that so I know who's where, what, and where, and how. So now there's what I got. So in the package we got primer. We also have a brush. You're going to take that, you're going to go all inside the square. You're also going to go outside this square about 3/8 of an inch. Outside about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get that, there's a film on the back. You peel the film, now you know which side you are, see, because there's your marks. And you peel that film back. Get the fingers in there to get the film off of this thing. This is just a regular roof tape. That's all it is. We put them in all the care packages. Get that daggone thing off of there. Probably need some fingernails. Probably help. Come on. There it is. Okay. Oop, there it is. Now you got the film. We take that film. So now we're going to line it back up with this. We already got the primer under there. You just peel the film back, and as you do, you just rub it down like this. Sometimes that film will get a little stuck in there. This is just a butyl. You just kind of try to keep it as even as you can and flat as you can. Boom, you're done. There it is. So now, out here, this is where your primer is. You put the primer on there. You got primer there, and now you're going to put primer here. You want to prime all this area with your brush. Prime all that. Then you're going to come back. Once you get it all primed, then you're going to put a little bit of caulking on it, just like this. That's simple. It doesn't all sit in there. You can always take your finger and go around it if you want. We're trying to obviously stop a leak and make one of. There's going to be a little more permanent of a patch than just that plug that we did when it was raining. So now that we get that all done, what the whole purpose of it is this part here. This part underneath here, that's a butyl. When the sun hits that, if you didn't have the caulking on there, it will cause it to release and curl up just like I'm doing here. And it'll start coming loose. That's why you need the primer. That's why when you prime it, you're going to prime on top of this because nothing will stick to it. Nothing, the caulking will not stick to this patch and it won't stick to the roof unless you use the primer. That's how you do a patch. Ta-da! All done.